This week has been absolutely crazy on the AI front, and we have some really big updates. GPT 5.6 is just a few days away, with leaks of massive new upgrades. A Microsoft conference slide accidentally leaked what looks like an internal compute estimate for Claude Mythos. Alibaba dropped a new multimodal Qwen model that is more capable than most people realize. And Anthropic quietly shipped two Claude Code updates that basically nobody in the mainstream coverage even mentioned. All these updates are equally crucial, and let's not miss any of these. And by the way, I have 20 years of experience working in AI, machine learning, and computational intelligence. So rest assured, everything I tell here is filtered through all my knowledge and learnings all along. The GPT 5.6 story started with a single word. A few days ago, a user on X posted about how surprising it is that OpenAI and Anthropic are still so evenly matched, with users constantly switching between the two depending on who just released the latest model. Thibault, who is one of OpenAI's main product leads, replied. His reply was one word: soon. Now, I want to be clear that a one-word reply on X is not a product announcement, but the context is what makes it interesting. The thread was specifically about whether one company would eventually pull ahead of the other for good. Thibault's reply was not a general "we're working hard" answer. It was a pointed single-word response that implies something specific is close. And then the A/B test started showing up. Multiple users reported seeing experimental text and image models appearing inside ChatGPT over the past week. Two separate tests showed up just in the last 48 hours. One of the demos circulating shows a game generated inside ChatGPT, a full game with physics, collectibles, a scoring system, movement mechanics, and a polished UI. Not a toy, something that looks like a real product someone might actually use. When you stack that on top of the June release rumors and Thibault's comment, it becomes harder to write off as coincidence. From what I have been told, GPT 5.6 is reportedly on par with Mythos on a range of benchmarks, while being significantly more token efficient and cheaper to run. The UI slop problem, the thing that has made GPT-generated interfaces look plasticky and generic, has apparently improved noticeably, not fixed, but visibly better. And Canvas inside ChatGPT is reportedly already routing to GPT 5.6 at certain checkpoints, which means some of you may already be using it without knowing. Nothing confirmed, but this feels imminent. And what makes it even more interesting is the timing, because Microsoft just showed up at Build with something that nobody expected. As we are about to enter the most crucial part of the video, just hit that like button and press that lonely subscribe button as well. During the Build 2026 conference, Microsoft put up a slide. On that slide, listed alongside other major AI models, was Claude Mythos, with an estimate of how much compute was used to train it. The number was 6.1 times 10 to the power of 27 flops. If that means nothing to you, think of flops as a way of measuring the total mathematical work performed during model training. More flops generally means more compute, more data, and more infrastructure investment. It is the standard unit researchers use to compare how much resource went into building a model. The immediate reaction from researchers was that Microsoft's estimate is probably too high. Liane on X published a detailed breakdown arguing the figure looks overstated. But here is the part that matters. Even taking the revised lower estimates that researchers are calculating, the number is still enormous. The analysis points toward a model potentially in the range of trillions of parameters trained on hundreds of trillions of tokens. If even a rough version of that is accurate, Mythos sits comfortably among the most compute-intensive AI training runs ever attempted. Anthropic has not released official training details. Nobody outside Anthropic knows the real number. But what this slide did, whether intentionally or accidentally, is give the broader research community something concrete to work backwards from. And the picture it paints lines up with how Anthropic has been talking about Mythos from the start. Not an incremental update, something qualitatively different from what came before. If these estimates are anywhere near accurate, they explain a lot. Why the model is restricted to 50 approved partners, why the capability jump from Opus 4.6 to Mythos on exploit development went from 0% to 72% in a single generation, and why Anthropic's own co-founder stood at Oxford and said they were not ready for what they had built. The number on that slide may not be exact, but the story it is telling feels real. Now, while all of this was happening with OpenAI and Microsoft and Anthropic, Alibaba made a move that most Western coverage practically ignored. Alibaba released Qwen 3.7 Plus this week, and I think it deserves more attention than it has been getting. The most important thing to understand is that this is not just an updated Qwen 3.7 Max. It is a different kind of model entirely, where Max is focused on text, Plus is fully multimodal and built around agentic use cases. It takes vision and language and combines them into a single system. The model can see something, reason about it, write code based on what it sees, and then take action. All within the same model, not stitched together from separate components. Alibaba is positioning it as both a coding agent and a productivity assistant. It can analyze images, ground its answers in what it visually observes, use augmented capabilities, and work through both GUI-based and command-line tasks. It is more efficient than Qwen 3.7 Max while adding multimodal capability on top. That combination is genuinely useful for agentic workflows where you need a model to process visual context without burning through tokens or slowing down. I will be doing a proper benchmark walkthrough in a future video after more testing. But based on what I have seen so far, this is a capable and competitive model that is worth paying attention to. And while Alibaba was quietly shipping this, Anthropic was doing something that almost nobody noticed. Anthropic shipped 2 Claude Code updates this week, and they barely registered in the mainstream AI coverage. Both of them are worth understanding. The first is a new fork command, and the way this command works has changed significantly. Previously, the fork command would create a new session with a copy of your current conversation. Useful but fairly passive. You got a duplicate you could work in separately. The new fork does something different. It launches a background agent carrying your exact current state, including your tools, model settings, chat history, and even prompt cache. That agent works in the background and returns results directly into your active session when it is done. The old behavior is still there. Anthropic just renamed it to the branch command. Branch creates a separate session you continue working in yourself. Fork now means something specifically more powerful, a background agent spun up from your exact context that reports back to you. On paper, that sounds like a small distinction. In practice, it makes Claude Code significantly more agentic for anyone running complex multi-step work. The second update is a new CLI tool for the Claude platform. It lets developers interact with essentially every Claude API endpoint directly from the terminal, whether that is calling the Messages API, launching Claude-managed agents, or piping output into a shell workflow. It is built to work with Claude Code as well, making it easier to build AI workflows entirely from the command line. Neither of these made headlines. Both of them compound quietly into something meaningful for anyone building serious production systems on top of Claude. And while all of this was happening with the major labs, Google may be getting ready to do something interesting of its own. This one is unconfirmed, but the timing is interesting enough that it is worth flagging. Testing Catalog spotted what appears to be a new planning mode inside NotebookLM specifically for video overviews. If it exists in the form it appears, it would give users more control over how video summaries and presentations are generated inside the tool. What makes this worth paying attention to is the timing. Google released Gemini Omni at I/O 2026 just weeks ago. Omni is a genuinely capable video generation model with conversational editing, multi-shot camera work, and significantly better lip sync than what came before it. If Google is upgrading NotebookLM to use Omni as the engine underneath video overviews, that would be a real step forward. Better narration, stronger visual understanding, more polished output. NotebookLM has been one of the most genuinely useful AI tools for a lot of people since it launched. An Omni-powered upgrade to the video generation inside it would make it even more practical for researchers, students, and content creators. Nothing confirmed yet, but if this is what it looks like, Google could be about to make an already good tool noticeably better. So that is the week. By the way, do you really think that GPT 5.6 is going to be that good? And which one of these updates you think are the most crucial ones? Share your opinion in the comments. And Microsoft has released 7 new AI models in the Build conference, strongly challenging Claude and ChatGPT. Watch this video showing on the screen to see what surprising capability the new thinking model has. See you there.